Charles Conder and Tom Roberts were friends and fellow travellers in the art world of the late 19th and early 20th century. Their lives were bound through the common love of painting, and especially so as men sharing a devotion to the new Australian aesthetic, which revelled in the depiction of light and nature. The older Roberts was something of a mentor to the more mercurial Conder. Both men stood above Coogee beach in the autumn of 1888 and together painted that iconic crescent of sand with its transitional layers of colour, from the deep blue of the ocean to the turquoise of the shelving bank to the mauves and ochres of wet sand interspersed with the foaming waves as they ran up the peopled beach. Each painting reflected something of the character of each artist. Roberts was quiet, intensely sensitive to nuance. Conder was urbane, impish, and leant towards design and decoration. Both admired these traits in the other, traits that took them in different directions in both their art and their life. Conder and Roberts travelled to London and Paris, with Conder finding his feet as a genuine bohemian dandy, while Roberts languished in the more conservative environs of the Chelsea Art Club in London. Meanwhile, Conder was involved in a literary and arts magazine called The Yellow Book, and spent his time with Oscar Wilde, Aubrey Beardsley and others, who met regularly and were labelled the Decadents. Streeton, an old friend, watched over his progress but was disapproving of his lifestyle, and although disillusioned by his failure to find an audience for his work in London, Roberts still supported his old friend when criticised by people like John Longstaff and others. In an unpublished letter to the Melbourne Argus, Roberts says of Conder, quote, "Some people thought he was not always a hard worker. Some thought he couldn't draw or paint. But we, his intimates, knew they were as much misled in one case as in the other. Conder died at only 41 of complications brought on by syphilis. Before he died, Conder wrote to his friend Roberts, 'Nothing can exceed the pleasures of that last summer, when, I fancy, all of us lost the ego somewhat of our natures in looking at what was nature's best art and identity.'"